Hey guys, this is Bri with another video. As you know, by this point, optimize every aspect of your life with more wisdom and less time. It is now all absolutely free. We've been talking about it in some videos, but all 600 Philosopher's Notes, all 50 Optimal Living 101 classes, and 1,000 Optimize Plus Ones free. We've had tens of thousands of people pay us, $13 a month, $70, $100 a year, $250 lifetime. With my new business, Heroic, Acquiring Optimize, it's free. If you've already signed up, you know that. If you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Cruise on over. So today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, but I'm going to ask you the question again. What do you want to optimize today? Because we have a collection of Philosopher's Notes, distillations of the best books, 6-page PDFs, 20-minute MP3s, and these Optimal Living 101 classes on dozens of subjects. From mental toughness, habits, sleep, stoicism, leadership, productivity, purpose, etc. Literally dozens of them. Today, and in this series of videos, I'm going to give you an introduction to habits. So let's look at habits. When we sign up, what do we get on the habit side of things? Well, you get two 101 classes actually, because habits are one of my favorite subjects. And it's one of the most important things. You want to change your life? As John Maxwell says, change something you do every day. You want to change your life? Change what you do on a daily basis. So habits are super important. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Habits 101, Optimizing Algorithms 101. You know what's funny when I looked at this? I recorded Habits 101 years ago. Look at me there. And then look at me here. Optimized Algorithms was more recent. I was, doing certain things consistently, but I wasn't doing the right things. You can see the aesthetic of my face and overall body composition has changed. It's actually amusing for me. I get a lot of feedback on that. Yes. I needed some work back in the day, and it's what I'm doing now seems to be working. So the 101 classes, hour long, again, we'll look at them in a little bit more depth, are distillations of the best ideas from the best books. So when I want to master a subject, I go study what the greatest thinkers in that domain have taught us, right? So the best books in habits, on habits, include B.J. Fogg's Tiny Habits. B.J. Fogg's out of Stanford Behavior Design Lab. He is like the man who's done a ton of research in this domain that the other authors reference. So if you want to get good at setting habits, read that book or check out our Philosopher's Notes, or both, and then the 101 class. But that book's a must read if you're serious about, at least it was a must read for me if I was serious about teaching this stuff. James Clear's Atomic Habits leans on a lot of stuff from B.J. Fogg's Tiny Habits, and he also leans heavily on Charles Duhigg's Power of Habit. And this is an extraordinary book. Atomic Habits is amazing. Frankly, it's even easier to read than BJ's book. Really well written. James, this is what he does. Just a great storyteller, great writer, et cetera, et cetera. This book has now sold over 3 million copies, and there's a reason. It's fantastic. Atomic Habits, we'll talk about that a little bit. The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, great book. Little things matter. When you aggregate and compound tiny changes over an extended period of time, boom, your life changes. The Slight Edge is another great book. Mini Habits by Stephen Guise. This book has sold a lot of copies. It's a great book. Tiny Habits, Mini Habits, Atomic Habits. You notice the theme, right? It's all about going small on your habits. Most people get it wrong. They try to change everything and meditate for 60 minutes instead of 1 minute. Install the habit, then grow it is the big lesson that we talk about in our notes and in the classes. Tiny and Superhuman by Habit is great. Atul Gawande is an amazing surgeon. The Checklist Manifesto is super powerful. We're using a lot of these ideas in the Heroic app, by the way, which will help us move from theory to practice. Separate conversation, heroic.us. More coming soon. Charles Duhigg, great writer at the New York Times. Fantastic book, The Power of Habit. Admiral McRaven shares some great wisdom in his book. Then we've got some other books. Then we've got plus ones. These are micro classes. You don't have time for a 60-minute class? Perfect. How about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes? Emotional stamina is a big thing. Basic idea here, again, check out the site for more. I got this from my coach, Phil Stutz. He says the worse you feel, the more committed you need to be to your protocol. Think about that. The worse you feel, the more committed you are to your protocol. That presupposes you have a protocol, which again, we talk a lot about in the 101s, etc. And then you got to get yourself, when you least feel like it, to do what you know is best for you. I don't know about you, but I used to, when things would get stressful or whatever, go off the rails. That's when you start doing stupid things, when you can least afford it. What if you changed your life by doing those things you know you need to be doing with a rigor and a ruthlessness that goes with not feeling like it? You literally change your life. You create what Phil calls emotional stamina. I have adapted that to anti-fragile confidence is my big thing. Bright lines, again, well, I won't go into details on all this or this will become a 2-hour thing, but we've got tons of little micro lessons here to help you get this wisdom into your brain and then most importantly, get it out into your life, not in the abstract, but concretely today. So how about we take a quick look at a note just so you can see that. If you don't know what a philosopher's note looks like yet, maybe a friend told you to check out this video. First you've ever heard of Optimize, perfect. Philosopher's note, I'm in the country. Satellite, internet, loads a little slowly for me, should load much faster for you. Tiny Habits, great book, 320 pages. Well, what are the best big ideas in 6 pages? I pull out what I call big ideas. Those sections you asterisk and underline and mark all up. Right? So let's check out the PDF. You can read it on the web. You can get the app, download the app and get access to that on the go. Or you can download PDFs. I'm old school. I love PDFs. I've got a stack of them at my feet right now. I read one of these, 1, 2, 3 a day. I still get stuff out of them because the wisdom is dense and it's impactful. So BJ Fogg, these are the best big ideas from my vantage point. His whole thing is, and again, check out the note for more, but behavior equals MAP, motivation, ability, and prompt. Now, I actually taught this to my son, who at the time I think was 7 years old. He's now 9. And look at this. He sketched it out. Can I zoom in on that? Yes, I can. Here's the map, right? So you got your motivation on one axis. You've got your ability to do it on another axis. And then you've got something called a prompt, right? So you want to create a habit that doesn't require high levels of motivation. So if you're saying, I want to meditate, and then you say, I got to meditate for 60 minutes, you made it really hard, right? Your ability to do it is not very high. It's hard, and your motivation better be really high if you're going to get yourself to do it, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, we unpack what this actually means, but my 7-year-old son understands that nothing's wrong with you. It's not a character flaw if you are having a tough time installing a habit. You have poorly designed your behavioral change. Atomic Habits, favorite idea from here, and there are a lot of them, is probably, let's see if we can just click here. I've never done that before. Oh, that's fancy. Identity. Did you know that etymologically your identity, the word literally means repeated beingness. Your identity is shaped by what you repeatedly do. So we extend this a lot in our Optimized Mastery Series coach program where I go deep into this stuff and in Heroic. You need to have a sense of who you are at your best. Then you need to act like that version of yourself, not once in a while, but consistently. And then you literally shape your identity. And there's this beautiful virtuous loop that drops in when you have a clear sense of who you are at your best. And then you act like that consistently. Then you feel like that best version of you over and over again. Super exciting. So anyway, that's the quick look at that philosopher's note. Going back, we've got this Habits 101 class. Then we've got Optimizing Algorithms 101. So the basic idea with habits, hello old me who learned a couple of things nutritionally since you recorded this video. Knowing how to use your willpower wisely to install habits. This is chapter number 1, right? So there's 10 big ideas, 10 chapters in here. Each of the 101 classes comes with its own workbook. We've got an amazing designer based out of Germany who sketches all this stuff. So basically, you need to get really good at using your willpower wisely to install habits that run on autopilot. When I interviewed a guy named Roy Baumeister, he literally wrote the book on willpower, which is a separate class. He said habit or willpower self-mastery exemplars don't actually use their willpower. Right? Defensively, they play offense. They install habits so they don't have to decide every single morning to meditate and to work out and to turn off their electronics when they're with their family. You just decide once so you don't have to decide 100,000 times. Really powerful stuff. So anyway, in this class, we walk through 10 of the most powerful ideas, starting with that. And then we talk about the importance of our fundamentals, getting rid of your kryptonites, stop doing list. What are you doing right now that's blowing up your life? What one thing, if you stop doing it, would most change your life? And what one thing, if you started doing it, would most change your life? We teach you how to install and delete those habits. You got to know your why. You want to do it daily. Don't miss a day. Jerry Seinfeld style. You want to make it easy, like we talked about. Don't meditate for 60 minutes a day. 1 minute. Install it, then go. We've got some other scientific stuff in there. Anyway, there's this workbook where you can really get a deeper sense of the theoretical wisdom, and then, of course, go out and live it. That's Habits 101. Then we've got Algorithms 101 here as well. This is actually one of my favorite classes. I won't go into the details here, but it's got its own chapters and worksheets, etc. That's Habits. Super important. Again, you want to change your life? Change something you do on a daily basis. I hope that you get something out of that class. We've had a lot of people. Why I started with that, out of all these categories, that's one of the highest leverage. Change your behavior. Change something you do on a daily basis, and then get really good at mastering the process of changing your habits. Imagine if you could install or delete habits at will. You'd have a superpower. And we all can create that superpower. We just need to put in the reps, do the work, etc. I'm going to come back. Next video will be on sleep. I'm a huge fan of sleep. Sleep is a sport for me. I'm going to share my Aura scores over the last quite a while. I've averaged over 90 in Aura basically for a year. Currently flirting with a 94 average sleep score for the month of October. Kind of fired up about that. And then we'll look at purpose, we'll look at productivity, and a bunch of these other topics. That's all I got for now. If you've already joined, awesome. Tell your friends about it. If you haven't joined yet, optimize.me. We'd be honored to welcome you to our growing community. Let's go optimize our lives so we can change the world together, 1% at a time, starting with you and me today. See you.